Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. This week, Parshat Vayigash, but let's talk about Friday. Let's talk about Asar B'Teves. And we have this year a calendaric anomaly. We have a fast day on an Erev Shabbos. And the Mefarshim explain that the reason that this one fast, the only fast that we have is that falls out on a Friday, is because the Navi describes Asar B'Teves, and it says that you should fast, and this piece of the Churban happened be'etzem hayom hazeh, on the essence of this day, and therefore it's not something we can be doche. We can't make it earlier, we can't make it later. It must be be'etzem hayom hazeh afilu be'erev Shabbos. And while our calendar is not set up that Asar B'Teves can fall out on Shabbos itself, if it could, and if we be mekadesh the chodesh al pi ha're'iyah, so then even on Shabbos be'etzem hayom hazeh. We know Tisha B'Av can fall out on Shabbos. Shivasa B'Tammuz falls out on Shabbos, we push it off. And I would think those are the climactic days of Churban. When it comes to those days, maybe they should be Docha Shabbos. Why Asar B'Teves when the wall is sieged? Why Dafka there, Be'etzem Hayom Hazeh, there we'll fast this Friday, and we even fast on a Shabbos? So perhaps one could suggest, when it comes to Shivasa B'Tammuz, the walls were broken down. When it comes to Tisha B'Av, when the Beis HaMikdash is actually destroyed, perhaps we already passed the point of no return. There was a sense of inevitability. It was going to happen. So therefore, the specific date in which it happened is less critical. It happened, it's the fast of the month of Tammuz, it's the fast of Av, and whether it happened this day or that day, yes, of course, Tisha B'Av is a day that's miyuad leperonios, but there was an inevitability. It was going to happen, so this day, that day, perhaps not. It doesn't make as much of a difference. When it comes to Asar B'Teves, it's the beginning of the process, and we were not to the point of no return. Perhaps there was sinas chinam, perhaps there was division, perhaps we were not as meticulous in Shmiras HaMitzvos. And when we fail, so Hashem has a response to us. He has a lesson to us, but it could have been reversed. It could have been reversed. And unfortunately, alas, it wasn't reversed. But it was at a point where we were not at the point of no return. Therefore, that day, the day of the siege, is a message, is a wake-up call. Now you could change. It's not over yet. You could do something about it. And therefore, there becomes a more critical facet to being be'etzem Hayom Hazeh. And perhaps that's a suggestion why Asar B'Teves is different, and maybe even on some level, I won't say more significant, but the finality of Tisha B'Av, our biggest day of mourning, because it was final. But perhaps even more tragic is when you could have prevented it. You could have caught it early and you didn't. That's a tremendous, tremendous tragedy, and that's the tragedy that we commemorate on Erev Shabbos, Asar B'Teves. And we find ourselves now having tsaros, times of tsaros for Klal Yisrael, soldiers, Rachmana litzlan, being killed, being murdered by terrorists, and protecting the people of Eretz Yisrael, the borders of Eretz Yisrael. And it's a time that we also see a hisorus. And we realize that Hashem has to send us messages and asks us, demands of us, to respond to the messages that He sends us. But what a tragedy it would be if these responses that we have are fleeting. And once the current Sarah passes, but as Hashem, we go back to the way we were. No, it can't be. We have to take these lessons. That's what Hashem brings us tsaros in order for us to grow from them. May we be zoche to grow from them and not to experience any more churban. And if we have that proper sense of tshuva, be zoche to be as goel b'mheira v'yameinu amen.